Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Rod's Comics, and this is a super fantastic episode. I guess I'm saying super because I just did a Superman episode, which is in line with the Superman movie, and now there's an upcoming Fantastic Four movie. So before you watch the movie, you probably need a little primer or a backgrounder on Fantastic Four because they are Marvel's first family or first supergroup, but at the same time, not very many are really familiar with the group. I guess they were overtaken by other superhero groups like the Avengers and X-Men because of the success of the MCU or the Marvel movie franchises. All right, so now that they have their own movie, and I'm hearing a lot of good things about it, I came up with this fantastic episode. And I don't have four, I only have three essential Fantastic Four comic books. I do have other Fantastic Four comic books, but I decided I'll just share the three because it includes other characters that are introduced to the public in the upcoming movie. So this sort of coincides with the movie, and I will do another Fantastic Four related content that is probably not so much about its connection with the movies. All right, so let's start with probably one of the most important Fantastic Four comic issues, or one of the most important Marvel Comics issues ever, since it introduced a couple of major characters in the Marvel Universe, and that is Fantastic Four number 48. And this includes the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, who is the Herald of Galactus, and includes the first cameo appearance of Galactus. All right, so quite essential reading. Probably the second or third most important Fantastic Four comic book, aside from Fantastic Four number 1, which is obviously nearly impossible to get my hands on. So this does have the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, and again, when I say cameo appearance of Galactus, it's sort of like the appearance of Wolverine in Incredible Hulk 180 before he makes his full first appearance in 181, where it's a cameo appearance, but it's a full appearance. Like at the end of this comic book, we'll get to see a full image of how Galactus looks like. The funny thing is, on his next appearance, his uniform or his costume kind of changes. It becomes purplish, and it's not quite how he is depicted in his first appearance. So maybe they sort of had an opinion change on how he should look like. But anyways, just a quick synopsis of the storyline here. It actually continues from a previous battle with another group of villains from issue number 47, and it concludes sort of like the first half of this issue, and then the second half is where Silver Surfer makes an appearance. And it's Silver Surfer, of course, if you don't know, Silver Surfer is the Herald of Galactus. Basically, the only job of the Silver Surfer is to warn planets of the coming of Galactus and that their end is near, because Galactus is a planet eater and he needs it to sustain himself. So he goes around randomly choosing different planets in the universe, what to consume or destroy. It's just not that he's a bad guy, it's just the natural order of things, I guess. And the Watcher, the guy you see here, is sort of like an overseeing god of the Marvel Universe. So he sees things happen, he doesn't really interfere. In this one, you can see how terrified he looks like, along with the Fantastic Four down here, because Galactus has made his appearance. And if a character who is of God's stature like the Watcher is in fear of Galactus, you know Galactus is a real butt kicker. All right, so you can see it there. That's the Watcher, Fantastic Four, the coming of Galactus. This is the first part of the Galactus trilogy, where it's 48, 49, and 50. And you know, I don't have the other two, but I do have this. All right, so, and I think it's the most important of the three in the Galactus trilogy series. It was released in 1966, and artwork by Jack Kirby, story by Stan Lee. Moving on, we have this one is issue 55, and this one's also from 1966. It's also Stan Lee, it's also Jack Kirby, and it shows the fourth appearance of the Silver Surfer. And I'm not sure if this is his first. No, this is not his first on the cover. I think this is probably second to appear on the cover. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you see him going up against the Thing from Fantastic Four, and obviously that's what the storyline is about. But this is no longer connected to the trilogy, the Galactus trilogy, because Galactus is already gone by this time. And if you don't know how that ends, basically Galactus decides to sort of set Silver Surfer free and no longer made him his herald because of the conclusion of the battle against Fantastic Four, where Galactus obviously decides to not consume the planet. But I don't want to be a spoiler here, so I think it's going to be in the movie. I'm assuming the plot is going to be close to it, so I'm not going to tell you how that ends. You're going to have to read a comic book or do your own research or watch the movie. But anyways, obviously Galactus doesn't eat planet Earth, and he decides to sort of release Silver Surfer as his herald, but he takes away the power of the Silver Surfer from being able to roam around space. So the Silver Surfer ends up being stuck on Earth, all right? And that hence, he bumps into Thing, okay? So that's issue number 55. And again, this is the fourth appearance of the Silver Surfer. Now, speaking of Silver Surfer, of course, he gained popularity from his appearances on the Fantastic Four books, namely 48, 49, 50, 55, so on. So he ends up, after a couple of years, ends up with his own comic book. And this, my friends, is Silver Surfer #1. Now, this is not the first appearance of Silver Surfer. This is certainly not his introduction to the public, but this is his first own comic book. And this one, again, 2 years after the earlier comic books I showed, those were 1966. This is 1968. And this is the first appearance of Shala Bal. If you don't know who Shala Bal is, well, she is the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie, all right? The female Silver Surfer, who happens to be Norrin Radd. The Silver Surfer's name is Norrin Radd. I forgot to mention that earlier. And that's probably why I like him, because it kind of sounds like my name, Norrin Radd. And that's his name. And Shala Bal actually used to be his lover. And in turn, she becomes one of the heralds of Galactus. So when you watch the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie that's coming up, that's the Shala Bal Silver Surfer. That's his lover. So I'm really excited, because I'm assuming that there's going to be a separate Silver Surfer movie with the original Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd, being the main guy there. All right, so for the, in case you're confused, isn't the Silver Surfer a guy? Well, Shala Bal also does become a herald of the Silver Surfer, but she's the female lover of the original Silver Surfer. And this is her first appearance. So if you want the whole background, the whole origin, the whole story of the Silver Surfer and how he came to be and how he ended up becoming the herald of Galactus and all that, and why, he's lovers with Shala Bal and how she ended up being, the Silver Surfer now, it's pretty much all here. Or at least it all starts here. And this is, I would say, probably the pride and joy of my current collection, because this one is in pristine mint condition. And it's very hard to find Silver Surfer issues, Silver Surfer #1 issues in this mint condition. This, I would say, this is probably at least a 9.6. Lowest would be a 9.6, maybe just because of a minor crease or something on the spine, which is very common among thick format comic books of that era. And yeah, so this is the pride. But in terms of, I guess, overall value, I would say this is probably more important and I guess overall more valuable. But in terms of how the condition is and everything, this is certainly the one, and definitely one of the pillars of the Marvel Silver Age comic book line. So proud to own these two, and it just so happens that it coincides with the new movie from Fantastic Four. It's not the first Fantastic Four movie, by the way, probably the fourth, if I'm not mistaken. There's the Jessica Alba one, there was the Michael B. Jordan one, and this one, and tons of other I guess Fantastic Four features that we're probably not aware of. But this is definitely the one, I think, that truly will put Fantastic Four on the map. I'm very excited about the movie, just as I was excited with the Superman film. But I wasn't really a fan of Superman because I'm not really a DC guy. But I am somewhat of a Fantastic Four fan. It's just that, obviously X-Men, it just seems like a more cooler group. And Fantastic Four is more of like a traditional family, old school, retro-ish kind of, superhero group. So there you go, my fantastic episode. Sorry to only have 3 issues, but I'll be doing more episodes on Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer because I do have other comic books that feature those characters as well. So this has been an episode of Rod's Comics. We'll see you at the movies. Until the next episode.